Have you ever wondered what would actually happen if the simmering tensions between Iran, the US, and Israel boiled over? Because honestly, the last several months have felt like a powder keg with a lit fuse.
Absolutely, and each headline seems to crank that tension a notch higher. I'm here today because we're going to pull back the curtain on what's really happening, what's at stake, and where this conflict could head next.
We'll break down the current status on the ground, analyze the ripple effects across the region, and get into the political, economic, and even social consequences around the globe.
Plus, we'll give you a structured PESTEL analysis, so you'll come away with a clear sense of the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors shaping this crisis. And if you stick with us, we'll help you make sense of what to watch for next.
So before we dig into scenarios, let's level set. As of mid-2024, direct and proxy skirmishes between Iran and Israel have sharply escalated, right? We've seen attacks on infrastructure, cyber operations, and even drones swapped between the two.
Yeah, and the US has really tightened its involvement. It's not just about military presence. Think naval deployments, airstrikes against Iranian proxies in places like Syria and Iraq, and ramped-up sanctions. That pressure is squeezing Iran's economy hard.
Meanwhile, Iran is flexing its regional muscle, supporting groups like Hezbollah and Houthis, and signaling it won't back down. It's almost like both sides are locked in this chess match, raising the stakes but avoiding a direct, all-out war for now.
Exactly. And what's really changed is the frequency and intensity of exchanges. There's a real sense that a single miscalculation could take things to a new, dangerous level. That undercurrent of risk is what's keeping analysts up at night.
That tension isn't just confined to the Middle East, though. The whole region is feeling the aftershocks: oil prices, refugee flows, and even the diplomatic postures of countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey.
It's wild how quickly an incident in the Gulf can send oil prices spiking or disrupt energy markets worldwide. And you've got international actors like Russia and China watching closely, sometimes backing Iran, sometimes playing their own games.
Not to mention, every escalation ramps up fears of a wider conflict. Even European countries are beefing up their naval patrols and diplomatic channels just in case things spiral.
And for ordinary people across the region, there's this constant anxiety about safety, about the economy tanking, and about the possibility of major war breaking out almost overnight.
Let's zoom out and really break this down with a PESTEL analysis. Politically, we're seeing entrenched governments on all sides, each facing domestic pressure to stay tough and avoid looking weak.
Economically, sanctions have hit Iran hard, and any further conflict could send shockwaves through global oil markets, which means higher prices at the pump and more volatility for everyone, not just the region.
On the social front, these tensions fuel anti-Western sentiment in Iran and anti-Iranian fear in Israel. Technology-wise, both sides are escalating cyber attacks, shutting down infrastructure, leaking sensitive data, all happening behind the scenes.
Environmental factors might get overlooked, but attacks on oil infrastructure, for instance, could cause massive spills, fires, or even regional pollution. And legally, there's the risk of international law violations if things get out of hand. Think civilian casualties or attacks beyond declared war zones.
Looking ahead, one big question is, are we heading for an outright war? Or is this more likely to stay a shadow conflict with periodic flare-ups?
Honestly, it could go either way. If there's a direct hit on critical infrastructure or high-profile assassinations, you could see a rapid escalation. But both sides do seem to recognize just how catastrophic a full-scale conflict would be for themselves and the world.
There's also the wildcard factor. Domestic political shifts in the US, Iran, or Israel could change the playbook overnight. A new leadership could either ramp up aggression or take a shot at diplomacy.
And don't forget, non-state actors like militias, cyber groups, or even activists could spark something unpredictable. It's these wild cards that make the situation feel so volatile right now.
So, if we had to sum up, first, the Iran-US-Israel conflict is more dangerous and complex than it's been in years, with global economic and security stakes.
Second, any escalation won't just affect the Middle East. It'll hit oil markets, political alliances, and even daily life far beyond the region.
Third, The situation is highly dynamic, with technology, non-state actors, and domestic politics all raising the risk of sudden shifts.
If you want to stay informed, I'd say pay attention to cyber incidents, sudden oil price moves, and statements from regional leaders. Those are real indicators of where things might head next.
Thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns, and stay sharp as this story keeps unfolding.